Top 10 characters in the game for the month of August 2024. And I just got to give a big shout out to everyone that came out to the last top 10 best characters video in June. One of my most liked videos for the entire year. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than the top 10 lists I've done in the past, and largely has to do with Annihilators and the stat reset that started with Ares. So going forward, new characters coming into the game are going to have higher stats, about 30% higher than what we've been seeing now. So I'm fully expecting to see like 1 million characters. And that started with Ares. Now, Ares is not on this list, but I have to draw your attention to the 3 new Annihilators coming to the game because they are going to be very important. And even though we haven't got to play them, I can see that the stat increases are meaningful and what the kits do are meaningful. And the 3 new characters, Thanos, Gore, and Gladiator, I think are going to have value. And I'm pretty sure with some reasonable certainty that they are going to be top 10 characters. One being the most important is going to be Thanos in-game, who has effectively a way of removing Safeguard. And he also has some fantastic exposed synergy, which could bring back Super Skull to the very tippity top, where spreading a lot of ability energy, kind of like the other Thanos, the Infinity War Thanos. But Thanos in-game is probably the strongest of the 3. Also worth mentioning is Mephisto is the best character in the game. I just got to put that out there. He is the best character in the game, and I do think he's going to continue to be the best character in the game, even with Thanos, Gore, and Gladiator. I just want to put that out there. Mephisto is the best character in the game, and those 3 characters are not going to change that. So, this idea that, DD7 is optional and Mephisto's garbage and all that, it's not true. Mephisto is still very important, but yes, it could be easier to focus your resources on these 3 new characters, and I run, don't walk, focus on them. Gore has anti-revive mechanics, anti-charge mechanics, anti-battlefield mechanics. Very, very interesting. And then Gladiator is a pre-taunting tank, and a pre-taunting tank with safeguard, immunity, and defense up, and amazing stats. So we're going to go to the characters that are in the game or that I have. And so the list is going to be a total of 10 characters. Or I do want to say that Gladiator, Thanos, and Gore are not a part of that 10, but Mephisto absolutely is. Probably the second best character in the game currently is going to be Old Man Logan. And Old Man Logan is already running circles around Apocalypse and Super Skrull and Black Knights and all of that good stuff. But we don't have diamonds on him yet. There's going to be an Old Man Logan trial here very shortly. I should be able to get 7 yellow, and then the reds will be going to the elite store. I'm not even sure how 7/7 Old Man Logans are going to play. I'm not even sure how diamonds on Old Man Logan are going to play. I think he's just one of the best characters, and the revives and the getting claws out and putting trauma everywhere. Having a mechanic where he's very hard to stun, negative effects don't stick to him, so on and so on and so on. Easily second best character in the game. I'm just going to go out there. I think he might be the second best character in the game. He's up there. And you can see that I've got purple on him. He's one of the few characters that I'm willing to put purple on now. And just to get that out of the way right now, what characters I'm considering putting purple: Mephisto, Old Man Logan, Apocalypse, and Super Skrull. Now, I don't have Mephisto, so I started working on Black Knight. That may be a mistake. Maybe I should have been just not doing anything with Black Knight, but I did put a couple purples on Black Knight. Now, let's keep going on the list, and we're going to kind of work our way backwards. Black Cat. Now, there's 2 reasons why I very much like Black Cat, and that has to do with her passive stripping away revive once. That is proving to be an important character, an important mechanic just for herself in a plug and play. So Robbie, Hardlight, and Black Cat have been very good characters over the last many months. And but Black Cat is getting use individually on her own in multiple game modes. And even though Robbie kind of shared the spot with her for a long time, now I'm seeing that Black Cat is the best. Other thing too is trauma plus stun almost always is a great mechanic. Trauma plus stun. So we'll just keep that in mind as we go through the list. The trauma plus stun is very good. Super Scroll. So there are counters to Super Scroll. I mean, and there's a lot of them in multiple different ways. One of the ways is with Black Knight, just coming back and slicing him up. Black Knight is basically a counter to Super Scroll, but also we're starting to see kits and characters that prevent turn meter gain, like Captain Britain's passive in Crucible, then also the Cabal with Vulnerables. And most of what makes Super Scroll an amazing character is this right here. When enemy gains positive effects, when this character ally gains negative effects, heal self for this character's max health and feel this character's speed bar by 10%. If you eliminate this from his kit, this fill speed bar by 10%, he's not nearly as good. That is what makes Super Scroll. So any kind of character that negates that is going to make Super Scroll seem mortal, right? But on offense, you can choose your matches, and you don't go into matches that are not favorable. So what this means is that even though Super Scroll was the best character in the game for a long time, second only now to, let's say, Mephisto, maybe Old Man Logan, is that he just is not as effective as he once was on defense, but now he's still going to be useful on offense. And that is a trend that happens in this game, is that a character like Mephisto will come to the game, and Mephisto will be so good and so crazy awesome that he holds on defense. Then slowly, over time, they introduce characters that make him beatable on defense. It still doesn't take away from his offensive power. You would just take him off of defense, put him on offense, and he walks over entire teams. That's kind of where Super Scroll is today. Next on the list is Green Goblin Classic. I just can't ignore how good Green Goblin is, and the Sinister Six, the Superior Six team is dominated in Alliance War and Crucible, specifically Crucible. A lot of very interesting mechanics, specifically with Green Goblin's passive. Now, this does rely on charge, and they're starting coming out with a lot of anti-charge mechanics, but there's a counterattack, and then also while having charge, ability block and vulnerable cannot be applied to self or any Sinister Six allies. I just think that's fantastic. Doing this right here, clearing barrier, attacking, extra damage against safeguard, flipping positive effects, reduced speed bar. That's fantastic. Apply trauma to the target. Oh my God. And Crucible, clear one charge. Repeat this attack 2 additional times. Wow. He's just great. Green Goblin's great. And I guess since we're talking about Superior Six, Sinister Six, there's other members in the team, namely Vulture's another one of my favorite. Mysterio Special does wonders in mini game modes. But just to call out Green Goblin is what we're doing here in this video as a top 10 character. Same thing here with Void Knight. Now, I kind of debated on putting Void Knight on this list or not, and maybe not. Now, Hivemind is still very powerful as a team, as a whole, mostly because of Carnage passive gives them turn meter, and if the team can get a character below 50% and start that turn meter, it just creates problems. I had a problem with this team in Alliance War a couple times this week. They're very, very good. Plus, they're very useful in raids. Void Knight stands out as the most plug and play character, and mostly because he gets extra speed on spawn, making him go very early, and then having the ability to bring everybody together, flip positive effects, apply ability block early in the match. Also, there's extra focus on this attack right here, so this also can get through like Black Knight and get rid of all the positive effects on Black Knight, which is very good. And then of course right here, this is better than ability block, stealing ability energy. So I just wanted to mention that the Hivemind team in general, just like I was talking about Green Goblin Classic, the Sinister Six, the Superior Six team in general are very good in the game, and there are some plug and play characters on those teams. And continue with that theme is going to be Peter B. Parker. And I could have put Penny here. I could have put Pav here. It doesn't matter. Spider Society is very good, and they're needed for raids, and I think they're going to be good for a long time. Now, on my new player account, I was suggesting Extreme being the way to go. And of course, Extreme and getting Old Man Logan, probably still like the best strategy for a newer account. But Spider Society is up there, and focusing on raid teams to help out your alliance, and whether that's Extreme, Spider Society, or Hivemind is the way to go. Now, I'm not suggesting people focus on Pegasus or Bifrost at this time. Yes, there are some good members on those teams, like Kestrel's still great. Vol to a certain extent is great, but the team in itself, I probably would not be putting a lot of resources into it all. Where I'm comfortable in suggesting Spider Society and Extreme, absolutely, and to a lesser extent, Hivemind. Black Knight, I love this guy, and I know it's probably a little bit controversial that I already started putting purple gear on him. I just love this guy. There's just so many things about this, but mostly it's about his counterattack. Just stripping away barrier and putting up trauma and heal block, and they can't revive. I mean, it feels like there's many counters to him and a lot of ways of getting through him. Like in Cosmic Crucible, you know, it's like, all right, how do I get through this unbelievably high amount of focus and extra resistance and all that stuff? Am I going to use Big Time Spider-Man? Am I going to use Vulture? What am I going to do to get through Black Knight? Is it going to be Old Man Logan? I just love this guy. Absolutely love this guy. Heal block, damage based off of his health. And this ISO class, and purple ISO, just ramps up some of these things through the roof right here. You know, barrier on spawn, gaining more max health, then getting another 10% max health on the purple ISO. And where a lot of his damage is based off of max health. Oof, right here, max health. His counterattack when he's charged right here is max health. Now, the other weakness that I think we're going into is an anti-charge meta. And so this character is dependent on charge. And so I think going forward, there's going to be a lot of different ways of getting around charge. Gore, specifically that character. This character is not the same while going up against a team that has an anti-charge mechanic. Like, for example, in War, Alpha Flight has an anti-charge mechanic, which really messes up Black Knight. And also, it has exhausted, you know, that does not work while he's exhausted. So there's that as well. So you can always sack this team. I really like this guy. So, I mean, I did want to put this guy, you know, in the top 5 or something like that. I think there are going to be reasonable counters to him going forward. Nightcrawler, kind of already made the case for Extreme X-Men. And when I talk about Extreme X-Men, I guess we have to talk about Gambit as well. But this is the superstar of the team. He also synergizes well with Old Man Logan, specifically the special, which not only goes off fairly early in the match, puts out stun, but it that really makes this is filling the speed bar for self and all X-Men allies, and speeding up Old Man Logan is a good thing. Not only is getting speed up to Old Man Logan a good thing, but it just this whole kit helps Old Man Logan giving X-Men allies 30% max health. Also very useful for Old Man Logan, and I think Old Man Logan is just going to move more and more further into bonkers levels with 7 reds and diamonds, and Nightcrawler is going to pair with him, and the Extreme is probably still the best starter team for brand new accounts, along with Spider Society. Last on the list is Apocalypse, and boy, Apocalypse is proved to be useful every day, and being able to go off and strip all of this stuff away and put out trauma, and then to go into the super basic and potentially delete a character. Also, his passive does a lot of really cool things. where speed of this character and each ally can only reduce by slow. That's like an anti-Emma mechanic. Enemies cannot spawn with safeguard. Then it also is not specific to any team, but just allies gain max health, allies gain damage. That's very good. Now, I do want to say, as far as the other horsemen, which none of them are on the list, just wanted to give a special shout out to Red Hulk, because there's good synergy with Red Hulk and Apocalypse, and I'm getting a lot of use of Red Hulk with Apocalypse, mostly because Red Hulk with his special not only knocks down turn meter on the other side, but also gives turn meter to Apocalypse. And the sooner that Apocalypse can do this, the better. So what do you think about the list? I know there's a lot of characters that I left off, but mostly I just want to reinforce, do not skip or sleep on Thanos. Do not skip or sleep on Gore. This Annihilator team and those two characters in particular, I think, are going to be good for a long time. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.